Welcome back to IGN Summer of Gaming. I'm Damon Hatfield, and now I'm joined by Phi from Phi Games to talk about Recompile. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. How's it going, Damon?
It's great. So Recompile looks very cool. This is a 3D metroidvania game that takes place inside a computer. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's right. It's a virtual world, kind of inspired by kind of sci-fi films like Tron and like old TV series like Reboot. I really wanted to make a game about a virtual world where you're kind of stuck inside a computer. So that's kind of the setting for it.
Right. And we are actually a virus that's sort of infiltrating the network.
Yeah, correct. So you're a computer virus, and you've been installed into this mysterious computer system. You don't really know what the purpose of the computer is, or why you're there, or what exactly you're there to infect. And that's kind of the journey that you'll be discovering as you play the game.
And we are almost immediately discovered by this sort of floating Death Star-ish orb. What can you tell us about that character?
That's basically the game's antagonist.
Gotcha.
It's called the Hypervisor. And so the Hypervisor essentially is it's a program that's created by humans there to maintain the system, but it's been abandoned for decades. But because the time runs a lot faster inside a computer because of CPU cycles and stuff. Sure. Obviously, the Hypervisor's kind of been left there alone for thousands of years, and so he's really surprised seeing you in the kind of shape of a human. Yeah.
So talk about our character. I think you've described it as the character is only made up of effects.
Yeah. So the character design, we never had a character designer when we first prototyped the game, but my business partner, he's a VFX artist and animator. So we decided, why not make a character just purely out of VFX and see what happens? And we did. And we posted it on Twitter, and it got 12,000 likes. And it was from that point we were like, okay, I guess we're making this game.
Yeah, well, it makes for a very unique looking character to control.
Thank you.
What's up with the sort of vibrating backgrounds? Is that just part to show us that? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's to show that part of the world is corrupted, but also as you kind of explore the world, the vibrating meshes, if you like, start to build up and collapse into the actual level geometry, and that's to kind of tell you like you're there to perhaps decorrupt the world, and it's a good way of showing where you've been and where you haven't as well.
Interesting. So this being a Metroidvania game, you are legally required to include a double jump, and I think that's what we just received right here. Is that correct?
Yeah, there we go. So we have the typical Metroidvania abilities, but there's also a few unique ones in there as well, which we're really proud of.
I believe you said the inspiration for this world was The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Could you explain how so?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be completely, honest with you. It's a big inspiration for the game. I really love the kind of emergent mechanics of gameplay, and we want to recreate that in Recompile as well. One of the main mechanics in the game is the ability to hack everything, and we hope that players will find solutions to puzzles that even the developers haven't thought of ourselves. So that would be interesting to see.
And what was that we just saw? Sort of the lights that were wrapping around that tube.
So that's it's what's called the logic gate circuit. So the entire world is powered by these dynamic logic gates, and everything is completely systemic. So we don't hard code anything in the game. There's no code that says if you press this button a door will open. It's all connected via these logic gates, and that's what makes the world so hackable as well.
And it looks like we're getting another power here. I think a little bit ago, there's a lot of platforming, there's a lot of verticality to this world, but it looks like we took a little bit of fall damage a few minutes ago. Is that right? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, it's a good way of stopping the player from exploring too much too early on. Sure. But also the fall damage kind of scales as you progress through the game. So eventually, if you can imagine, you'll be able to explore the entire of the vertical world, depending on what abilities you have.
So now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. What do we need to know about this? It looks like, do we have infinite ammo?
So in this kind of footage, there is infinite ammo, just to keep things simple. But there are kind of forms of currency or resources in the game that you collect called bits, and you need to harvest them. And we use those for hacking, for other powerful abilities, and ammo as well. So there will be some kind of resource management and choices to make there.
Interesting. Are we actually looking at like the opening moments of the game?
So this is kind of a hybrid between what we think will be very similar to the opening of the game and a kind of a vertical slice that we like to show to kind of the public if they're interested in the game. It's also something that we would like to show at events as well. Obviously, physical events are few and far between these days, but this was originally the plan for it. Yeah.
And speak to what's happening here. It looks like these flying devices were blocking somewhere we need to get to. Is that right?
Yeah, so they're sitting on these kind of switches. So part of the kind of puzzle solving the game is like you learn to not only activate a switch, but also to deactivate them as well based on what logic is powering the circuit. So for this, for example, there's 3 switches and they all need to be unpressed in order to gain the next ability, which you'll see here.
Let's see what ability this is. Oh, I think I know. I think we also saw some slowing down time. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that? But I haven't seen us get that ability.
No, it's just something that I like to include in videos because it looks nice. It shows off the combat really well. But we do have a time hack ability in the game, and that is allows the player to improve the precision on aiming as well as other kind of time related puzzles as well.
I see. So yeah, that last power we got was the dash. So in like under 8 minutes, we've already gotten 3 new powers here. But I think, as you were saying, this is sort of a truncated demo, right? The actual game won't move quite this quickly. No,
I mean it's a full Metroidvania game. There's some real pacing to it, so we wouldn't get 10 abilities in 10 minutes. But for this demonstration today, I just wanted to show how cool some of the abilities look and how fun to play. The dash actually you can use for combat as well. So if you kind of dash into enemies, you can destroy them.
And I think you've said before, you want to be the first ever Metroidvania that has branching narrative. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, sure. So plenty of Metroidvanias that I've played are all pretty linear in the way that you have to collect ability A, B, C to progress through the game. So we wanted to support like multiple play styles, whether you like combat or traversal or hacking. And the depending on which abilities that you choose to get gives you options on what route to take throughout the world, and then ultimately that will give the player a reason to change the narrative of the game as well. So the idea of Recompile is you're there to help create the first sentient AI, but what kind of AI you create depends on how you play. So if you're an aggressive player, you can imagine what kind of AI you will be creating at the end.
Well, I think Recompile looks really cool. I can't wait to play it. What is the release plan?
So we are currently in the final stages of polishing and fixing bugs, and then we are planning to release the game on PC and Steam at the end of the year, holiday season, and we're also looking at opportunities with next-gen consoles as well, but we currently don't have anything to announce today.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for IGN's Summer of Gaming. Recompile looks awesome.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.